Well, hello. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my home. Come on in. We fell in love with this house immediately, right when we saw it. It was originally built in 1927, but it was in really bad condition when we found it. It was falling in on itself. There were tons of problems, but we just fell in love with the vibe, with the thick wood trim, tons of windows throughout the entire house. It's flooded with light, have an amazing view of the park out front. We can just sit on the front porch or sit in the living room with friends, have a drink, and just look out over at the park. This living room is not a very big living room, so we set it up as best we could. We don't have a TV, we never have, so that was easy. So we really just had to work with the layout that we were given. It's very small and cozy, but it's a small house, so it works. My wife and I really like the mid-century modern design style, so we wanted to incorporate as much mid-century modern furniture as we could. And it all started with this piece right here that my wife got in college. Her parents found this at a yard sale for $50. When they bought it for her, she fell in love with it, fell in love with the mid-century style. So all of the furniture in the house is from that 50s vibe. One of the features that we fell in love with immediately was this thick trim that goes all around the windows and the doors. When we bought this house, there were probably 15 layers of paint on all of the trim. It was peeling, it was cracking. You could see several different colors underneath the layers. We didn't want to just sand it and paint over it, it wouldn't look good. So we had all of the trim removed throughout the entire house, sent it to an off-site facility. They sanded everything down to the bare wood so that we can just put a single fresh coat of paint. And it opened up so many of the lines and the details. It just looks awesome. I wish you were here to see the doors that go here. There's a set of beautiful glass pane French doors that are original to the house, but they're at the shop right now getting worked on, so you will just have to use your imagination. So we're making our way now into the kitchen and the dining room, which is one great room now, but when we first bought the house, it was two small rooms. There was a doorway with a wall right here. We tore that wall out. And what that allowed us to do is to push these cabinets and countertop farther into the dining room, and it opened up so much more space inside of this kitchen. It just feels like a much bigger kitchen now than what it really is. And we really wanted to stick with the Art Deco industrial design, to stay true to the 1920s with the Art Deco. Also, right in the middle of the Industrial Revolution, we wanted to incorporate lots of natural looking materials, stone, brick, metal, wood. So we incorporated those features into the design as much as we could. One of my favorite aspects of this kitchen is this countertop. This is a leathered granite. They actually skip the last few steps of the finishing process, so it gives it a very leathered, rough texture, and it fit perfect with this design. We've actually done this countertop in another project, and I remembered it, and I knew that it had to go in this project as well. So with removing that doorway and closing this one off, it kind of created this dead space. We didn't really know what we were gonna do here, so we ended up putting just cabinets and a countertop, and then it just morphed into this really cool bar area. It fits perfectly, it matches the space so well, and it gives us a lot of extra storage. And these are our dogs. They want to say hello too. Wait. Okay, come on. Come. Oh, hello. And this is Atlas. He'll be with us for the remainder of our tour because he is a Velcro dog. He does not like to be more than 2 inches away from me. And the flooring in the house these are original hardwood floors that I refinished. When we bought the house, there were 5 different kinds of flooring. They had really ugly teal carpet covering the floor in the dining room. The living room had this really cheap laminate floor. Kitchen had a linoleum floor. There was a different tile in the bathroom, industrial carpet in the bedroom. It was a mess. So we took all of that up, exposed the original hardwood floors, which were actually in really rough shape. I know why they covered them up. I got a floor sander and sanded these floors for days. I probably took off a ½ an inch just to get them down to where they were level again, they were smooth, and finished it with an oil instead of doing the traditional polyurethane. I did a boiled linseed oil, so it really gives it this natural, fresh look. I didn't want anything super shiny. And the good thing about an oil floor is if it starts to get worn or old, all you have to do is apply a fresh coat of oil and it looks brand new. So we wanted to extend that flooring into the kitchen and have the same look, but unfortunately we ran into a snag. When we pulled the linoleum up that was originally here in the kitchen, there was asbestos tar paper underneath, and we did try to get it up, but it was just a really nasty mess. So in the end, we ended up going with the brick tile, which I do love. I'm glad we did this. It fits the industrial vibe really well, but this brick floor was not an original part of the design feature. We had to add that. The social heartbeat of our house is, of course, the dining room table, which we spend all of our time at when friends are over. My wife and I actually built this table. This wood was milled from beams that were taken out of an old warehouse that was built in the 1800s. So we bought them, they had them cut down. And this is our backgammon board, which we just got tired of putting it away because we play it literally every single day. We probably play this 3 or 4 times a day. We eat breakfast here, we play it. We eat lunch, we play it. We eat dinner, we play it. So we just stopped putting it away and now it just stays on the table full time. This is one of my favorite pieces of art in our entire house. This is an old map of Savannah that we found at a antique vintage map store downtown, and Annalisa, my wife, took it and had it framed and matted for me, and so now we hang it up above the fireplace in the dining room. We are going to be selling soon because we are outgrowing this house. We have our first baby on the way, so yeah, that's it. We have a baby coming. Welcome to the master bedroom. For all of you MTV Cribs fans, this is where the magic happens. This is one of our absolute favorite pieces. My wife found this at a scratch and dent store. This is actually an Anthropologie dresser, and I think it retails for about $3,000. My wife got it for 400 bucks. There was some damage to the veneer, so they sold it at an extreme discount. She bought it, brought it home. I was able to fix the veneer, match it, do a new coat of paint and clear coat, and it's like brand new. This is our absolute favorite area of the entire house, our patio. When we bought the house, this was just a big, sandy, muddy dirt pit. The steps were covered up. There was a porch here that they had built above these stairs. These are the original stairs to the house. At least the bottom 2 layers are. The top 2 layers had disintegrated, so the previous owners built this really terrible porch that came off to the side. This was completely covered up. We tore that porch down, discovered these steps, and had a brick mason come out and rebuild the steps. These top 2 steps, the bricks are actually from a gas flue chimney that we tore down inside the kitchen. The bricks all matched perfectly, so we had him rebuild these steps using the bricks from the chimney. This is our absolute favorite area, our backyard. We fell in love with this yard immediately when we found it. It did not look anything like this, though. It was an absolute disaster. There was stuff everywhere. There were cars, there were piles of lumber, there were tree limbs that had fallen down out of the tree. It was a mess, and it has taken a lot of time for us to bring it back to what it was. But we have this beautiful garden that we get to sit in. We have this beautiful centuries-old live oak tree that just canopies over our yard, creates all of this shade for us in the afternoon. It is just our oasis, our escape from the city. When we want to feel like we're out in the country, out in nature, we just come out here. The birds out here, because we're so close to the waterway, there are birds out here. Sometimes they go crazy. You'll hear owls, you'll hear hawks, you'll hear mockingbirds, you'll hear just, it sounds like you're in a zoo. The wildlife out here is unbelievable. And this is our garden. My wife and I both love gardening, and this was all fully grown until a few months ago. We had a frost come through and it wiped everything out, and it is all coming back, but for now, this is all we've got. Thanks so much for coming. I wish you could stay longer. I wish there was more to show you, but it's a small house. There's nothing left, and I gotta kick you out. You gotta go. Bye. I got stuff to do. See you later.